Check, check.
I hear me, but
Okay,
I hear
cool.
you outside of the speaker.
What's up?
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay, cool, cool. Um, yeah. Ready to start whenever you are.
But you're not in my headphones.
I can
Wait,
I can
okay.
hear myself. Can you hear yourself?
I can hear him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay, and
fine.
I can hear you too. Okay, we're ready now. We're
Yep,
rolling.
yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, good evening, everyone. And we're coming to you straight from Disco Sundays. This is going to be a podcast where we are going to be able to dialogue on various subject matters. My name is June Makel, preferably Saida Shakur. It's my pen name. I'm a published author, spoken word artist. And sitting next to me actually is my producer. And I'd let him introduce himself, please.
Hi, my name is Melvin. I am the CEO of Disco Sundays. Um, and welcome to the podcast.
So, Melvin and I have known each other for a while. Melvin has been able to help me get my book, February, turned into an audiobook, which had been a long time dream for me. As many of you know or may know, February originally was published in 2012. So it's been, 13 years in the making. So one of the things that I would like to discuss on our podcast is living out our dreams. You know, quite often we get chased by hectic schedules, so we forget, to pursue what our hearts are fond of, and in doing so, sometimes we end up living miserably. One of the things I'd like to create in this forum is a safe space for people to be honest and talk about their concerns, no matter how big, how small, and please keep it respectful. Before we proceed, I do want to also discuss how important it is when you have friends, lifelong friends. And again, as I mentioned, Melvin and I have known each other a very long time. And that is because he is the son of one of my dearest friends, longtime friends. She's more than a friend to me, actually. She's what I call a sister from a different mister and another mother. Her name is Dana Thomas. She's over in the corner, just chilling. So she's very humble. We're not going to put her on air, but as always, I like to let her know how much I appreciate her and her support because, again, as I said, childhood friends. We met in Head Start. I was 3 years old, she was 4. And one day we'll sit back and share some of our experiences that we had growing up during childhood and into our blooming season that we're in now. So, going back to living out our dreams. When I originally decided that I was going to perform as a spoken word artist, it didn't just happen overnight. At the time, I was employed at an online university, and one of my colleagues had mentioned that she was going to do a fundraiser for the homeless, and at this point in time, it was during Thanksgiving, and this was around 2011. 2011, 2012, and she was in search of some performers, and she asked around in the office if there was anybody or anyone who would be interested. And it just so happened around that same time the company had a talent show. So I performed with a colleague. We did like a karaoke rendition of oh gosh, what was the song? The Isley Brothers. And Anyway, throughout that little concert, if you would, different people in the office started coming up afterwards and commenting on how lovely my voice sounded. And she happened to be one of the people that came over and asked if I would like to do it at her charity event. And I said no. She's like, no, how could you say no to me? Your voice will be fine. I'm like, I'm shy, to sing around people. I only did this for fun. I knew I wouldn't be judged. So she's like, you won't be judged. It'll be a worthy cause. We're donating clothing to the homeless. So I said, well, I'll tell you what. I like poetry. Could I perform a poem? And she's like, oh, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Fast forward, we end up having this charity event downtown at the Locker Room was the name of this venue, and it turned out to be quite successful. Plenty of artists showed up. The donations were incredibly phenomenal, and with that, I began living out one of my dreams. And over time, I wanted to write a book, have the book published, travel all over to different venues. I was able to do that until I had an episode with my health. So since then, I've been on the road to basically living clean, as they say, when you try to stay away from junk food and all the poisons that are out here. And in doing so, I've returned back to alternative medicine, and whereby I graduated from Baltimore School of Massage. So technically, I am a massage therapist. I do reflexology and some chakra energy work. I'm also looking to learn more about various herbs because I'm definitely into natural healing. With that said, I still listen to what my doctor, my primary care, says to do as well, and I hope you all are as well. We will have a show one day that will focus on health for those 50 and over, men and women alike. Because I find most of the friends that I have in this age group, regardless of gender, our health is our wealth. So I'm going to pause for a moment because some of you might see my green drink sitting here. This is a mixture of sea moss, soursop, and moringa seed. It was created by a guy named Musa, who you can find at the Patapsco Flea Market in Baltimore City. Musa has a stand where he sells organic products. So I usually get this in a gel that you take by tablespoon once daily. I tried this time because the one that I wanted was out. So this actually is delicious. It has a lime taste, and in drinking it, it handles proper digestion, de-inflammation, and so for anybody out there who may need some kind of ailment relief, go down and check him out. He also sells other items such as shea butter, and he has a food truck. So big shout out to Musa. And another topic that we will have on this podcast is promoting black businesses. Perhaps I could have some guests come in eventually as we build in this arena. And with that being said, I want to ask Melvin. Melvin, I know that you are currently living out your dream of being a producer, and could you speak to the audience about what's gotten you to the point you're at now?
Persistence. I would say persistence. Just staying with it, keeping with it, even when things are down, even when even when life happens. The reward for everything is if you stay persistent. If you stay persistent, things will start to come to you, and that's why a lot of people um, fall. I don't want to say fall off, but they're not consistent, or they find something else to do. It's because you just have to stay persistent no matter what, and that's that's just what I believe. I I I live out my dream. I try to live out my dream with this studio, but there's highs and lows, just like everything else in life, and you have to learn how to work through it. You have to have backup plans, and I was listening to um, another Instagram post um, by Jonathan Ball recently, and he said that certain places like Baltimore don't have enough talent retention, and which means they don't have an outlet for talent to shine,
Mm,
like California, like in Atlanta, like a hot spot like that, and so here I would say it's pretty difficult. Like it's more difficult than those places because you have more people trying to do the same things over there, um, and whereas here, um, as I said, there's not enough talent retention sometimes. So like, and that's going back to persistency. Since you don't have that talent retention or talent outlets around, it gets kind of stagnant. So
yeah.
and people don't stay with what they're doing. So that's my little rant for now.
No, that's great because I think sometimes people are under the perception that, I'll go out here to open mic night and I'll be discovered,
Right.
or, you know, I'll be at a talent show somewhere and because my light shines so bright, and maybe that'll be true, but the thing is, nothing comes easy to anyone. And the thing that I admire about you, um, Melvin, what you didn't mention is your multi talents that you have in the industry period as a whole. The when I say the industry, I mean not only music but communications as a whole. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your background?
Yeah. So, um, you mean my background for like college and stuff like that?
Which Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So I went to school. I actually went to school for 3D design, electronic studio, which is another form of fine arts, and I kind of took that and combined it with sound. So it's kind of like art and sound kind of collide. So yes, I am a man of many talents. It can get you just have to remember what you're doing. You can't get sidetracked in everything. You can't try to do everything at once. When you're doing a certain thing, you have to put your thinking cap on and and lock into what you're doing. So yeah, I do graphic design. I do 3D modeling, a lot of different forms of art. But I'm also that allows me to be efficient in multimedia things, video, audio, um, broadcasting, film, etc. Sound design. So yeah, I just try to combine art and sound together, both of my backgrounds, and I was fortunate enough to go to American University to get my master's in audio technology. But to be truthful, I've always been doing audio ever since I was in undergrad. I still did audio. I started out at LaSalle University. I ran a studio there, and unfortunately, I was kicked out because I wouldn't share any of my music. I was very particular about what I was doing because at that time you still have to process the learning aspect of everything. So everything's not gonna sound as good as you want it the first time, and that's where persistence comes back. That word is you have to stay with it. So ever since then, I stayed with multimedia. I actually played soccer as well in college, but ultimately I chose this instead of soccer. I just felt like this was more rewarding, and I was better. I was a little better at this than soccer. My mom probably would disagree or something like that, but I you know I just saw more reward in this. I saw ahead what I could do,
Mm.
and I just stuck with it. Um, yeah, art and sound, basically collide. I designed the logo that you see behind me. Um, I am the founder of Disco Sundays. I make sure all the media. We do live performances as well, so that's involved with video and audio. So I touch on a lot of different things. I'm a man, like a jack of all trades. I hate that word, but um, but master of many. So and that proves because I got my master's in fine arts. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And yeah, the bottom line is to stay persistent because you never know what may happen, and reach your goals. Everything might not sound as good the first or second time, but after that, if you stick with it, you'll get better. I mean, you have to. So yeah, that's just what I believe.
And I'm so glad that you chose this path because, like, the more we talk, the more I learn about you, and I'm like truly fascinated. Some of the things you just shared, I didn't even know. So, like, my nephew, Seven, Seven, he's deep into his music and creating, and I mean, like, every day he's wanting to make a song. But the thing that I want him to have knowledge about is this, like the behind the scenes, and like you're saying, it's not going to just go your way first time around, nor is it going to just be easily,
Yeah.
and when younger folks than you, who are like my nephew's age, 14, 15, and they're like in high school, what would you say to those that are, they know that that's their passion, okay, like music and communication is their passion? Are there any pointers that you can give?
First, that I would say, be prepared to fall. You're gonna fall a lot of times, but like the reward is getting back up and taking the punches. I remember when I was in school in in college, and uh, I was in a beat contest for Howard. I was in like a beat production contest, and one of the things that we had to do was we had to find a video online, or we had to make a video with that production. And I decided, I was like, hey, like I already have the background in it. Why not just design my own video? And so I did, and it failed miserably. Like it failed
I
miserably.
wasn't expecting you to say that.
But the beats were good and everything like that in the contest. But the video was just, it wasn't great. Like, it wasn't my best work, and those kind of things you gotta accept, okay, and you gotta move on, and but at the same time you gotta have one ear, as I say, one ear in the streets. You gotta know like what people like and what people don't like. You have to have a little bit of background in that, because like at the end of the day, you don't want to make you don't you want to make art for yourself, but you want other people to engage in your art or whatever you're doing. So the number one goal is you have to relate it to people in some way, shape, or form. That's why all the best songs, kind of come from relating. You know, so and it's just about and at the same time, somewhere down your path, you're gonna have to decide whether you want to do this just for yourself or whether you want to take care of this as a business and be able to grow and make money from it. And I've had that talk with a lot of people. Like for an example, there was a person, a poet. He came in here and he was a poet, and he practiced. He was a 5%er actually, so pretty radical. And so it came to a time where nobody could understand what he was saying because he was talking to the 5%ers. Like, he wasn't talking to the rest of the community. He was talking specifically to 5%ers, and that's why I say, like, at a certain time, you're gonna come to a realization, like, do you want to do this for yourself, okay, or do you want to do this so you can see the benefit or community of everyone else? And so yeah, I just feel like that's a big aspect of it. Of course, you can do art for yourself. I mean, there's people that draw and make art and do things for themselves, and you never see the light of day. Like the paintings or anything like that will never see the light of day, for whatever reason. Maybe they don't want to share it with people, or maybe they're shy. Erica Badu said, I'm sensitive about my shit. Like, she said that. So some people are really sensitive. So
Right, that's true.
but at the end of the day, it's going to come to a time where you say, okay, do I want to do this for myself, or do I want to take it and make it global or community wide? And I feel like that's one of the biggest aspects of what we do right now, art wise, because art is a form, that you can either do it yourself, or you can grow from it, or you can make a business from it. And yeah, that choice, has to be made in some point in time.
I like how you started out with the fact to expect failure,
Yeah,
okay? Because that's real talk,
yeah,
and then, like you had mentioned before, you have, you know, whether you're in competition or not, you still, when it comes to art, you're up against various talents and minds of creativity, and I know there's been plenty of time. Writing, for instance, is my art, where I've entered competitions and thought, that this is going to be it. It's going to blow everybody's mind, and I'm going to have the room standing. And yeah,
yeah,
maybe one or two people that was in the neighborhood could relate to what I was saying, but those who didn't, actually come from where I came from,
right,
was left looking kind of like dumbfounded, and it left me feeling like
Yeah.
questioning my ability and if this is something I should pursue or so. Yeah, I think if someone would have told me that in the beginning to expect, not being negative, I don't think it's negative when someone says to expect disappointment or expect things not to go your way the first time
Right.
and
Right.
not to allow it to break you.
Yeah. Yeah. The important thing when something like that happens is you look around and you evaluate and you get feedback, and that's what helps it. And another thing that I wanted to touch on before I forget is the art side of things. Um, it becomes your job. So, and a lot of people don't understand that art is different than just working a 9 to 5 job, because this is what you want to do at the end of the day. This is what you want to focus on. So you give all those off days away. Like
Mm,
it's like um, those off days are chucked up to your art and whatever you're doing. Like you can't. There's no more off days anymore. Like there's and that's what I had to realize a lot, because I mean I was never the one to like take an off day or things like that. I've always kept moving, but it's just like like a sport or things like that. Like you have sacrifices, and a lot of the sacrifice in art and sports is time.
mm,
Time with your family, time with your friends, time with whoever. You're sacrificing that to be great at what you do, and it's a push and pull thing, because it's selfish. Like you could call it selfish in a
mm,
way, because you're all about you, but at the end of the day, it's when that converts over, and when you get a Grammy or something like that, and you think of all the time that you spent doing whatever you were doing, and then you break down and cry or enjoy, because like you sacrificed all that time to get where you were. And
fulfillment.
yeah, and that's
Hmm.
the name of the goal. I would definitely tell the younger generation that as well. um, when you're doing art, any fine arts, anything artistic or things like that, you give away all those free days, all those
Hmm.
times where you want to go to bed, or it's real late, and you're tired and you want to go to sleep, um, because like um, and Ray Lewis said, it's what you do with time.
Mm,
So
that's true.
he said that recently for like a Raven speech or something like that. But it's what you do with time. You know, that it's what you do with the time that you have, and the more you let that time go to waste, like the you're leaving things on the table. Like you could be, if you want to be the best at your craft and what you're doing, then you have to use all that time to your advantage. And yeah, that's what I believe as well.
You took my thought when you were saying it in the middle of losing time. I was like, you're losing time to hone your craft.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and pursuing your dreams, you do have to be selfish. How many times I can't mention how many times, you know, I got distracted. I got distracted. Life comes up, and before you know, you put things down for a minute, intending to get back to it.
Yeah.
Then, before you know, a day goes by. Then a week goes by.
Yeah.
Then you look up, it's a month later, and it's like now you got to build the momentum up
Yeah.
to, first of all, to have the courage to do whatever it was you intended
You
to
were doing.
do
Yeah.
in the beginning. Because when time lapses, that doubt creeps in
Right.
you know. So yeah, I totally understand that statement by Ray Lewis. I had a coworker one time. He had said, time doesn't change, but it's like you said, what you do with your time. And sometimes it seems like you got a lot of time, because you're not doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a lot to do, it's like you have no time. You look up and all of a sudden, where did the time go?
Right.
So, yeah, like I really think the younger folks are, and being selfish with their dreams is a good thing. Don't get distracted, and more than that, with this particular industry, don't be gullible. It's important to have, people that you trust
Right.
around you,
That's a big one. Yeah.
especially the younger you are. You don't, there's so many avenues out here for people to get taken advantage of. So it's not even about age. It's
Right.
just, you need to have good business people around you that you trust and have the best interest and heart for you, but at heart for you. So again, for those who are starting out in middle school, even as young as elementary school, I know sometimes that the parent's hand is leading,
Right.
but by the time you do reach high school, like my nephew is at now, please, with all honesty, do expect failure to happen. But failure is just another word for setback, right?
Right. Right.
For set up.
Right. Right.
Set up, dig it. So I just know that you've come a long way with your studio. Like I haven't been here for maybe a couple of months, but you guys may not see the whole setup in here, but he is really expanding. I mean, it's spacious in here. The lighting is different. I think we're in the main area, but there's other parts of the studio that you guys can't see. So I'm definitely proud of that. I'm also looking forward to working with Melvin on a new audiobook that hopefully will be coming out by the end of this year. And if not, then hopefully early 2026. But again, I'm going to stay persistent with it because, in my life, things come up, and, regardless of it, I just maintain faith, and in doing so, I meet the right people at the right time, and, and I'm learning, especially from Melvin. He's been teaching me so many behind the scenes matters that I didn't know existed. I mean, you know what I mean? I kind of had an idea, but when you see from the background, from behind the scenes of what it takes to run a studio, get it up, and marketing, and, finding not only talent, but then Melvin has gotten so successful. He hired people. He had volunteers that was coming out the yin yang to intern for him that he had to turn some away, unfortunately. So, and I know all that came from your persistence. So, again, thank you for letting me use you as my guinea pig today. I know you had no idea that I was going to interview you. But again, I thought it would be great to get to know the man that'll be behind the scenes helping me to again live one of my dreams because, as they say, the bucket list. I'm tired of the bucket list existing.
Right.
I want to see the bucket list emptying more
Yeah,
and more.
yeah.
So,
All right. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.